Hey, hello, and welcome to another episode of Sci-Fi Saturday where we are playing Fallout. Last time we returned to Vault 13 and replaced the water ship, dealing with a revolutionary faction and a water thief. After putting in our report with Jacorin, I believe his name is, we received a new mission to eliminate the mutant threat. So between then and now, we have been doing caravan missions. During which one of these has led us to a bunker with the symbol of the Brotherhood of Steel outside. So we can leave the caravan leader here and can speak to the paladin. Greetings. Welcome to the Brotherhood of Steel. What is the Brotherhood of Steel? The Brotherhood is a collective of men and women who have dedicated their lives to the preservation of technology. What type of armor is it that you're wearing? This is a powered combat infantry armor model T-51B, or more commonly known as power armor. I've been wandering the waste for weeks and weeks now, and I've never seen armor like this before. The Brotherhood, the sole bearers, the power armor in these ways. Only the honored and knights of the highest stature are given the privilege to wear the ultimate armor. That doesn't answer why I've never seen it before. And he responds the same. How does one join the Brotherhood? You'll need to speak with Cabot about that. What is the Brotherhood Steel all about anyway? And he repeats his first thing. How do I find out more about your technology? The only way to know anything more about us is to join us. My friend Cabot can help you with that. I mean, we don't need it, but do you have a wardship in the Brotherhood? No, I've never even heard of one of those. One of our head scribes may know. We can ask one of them. That is, if you join us. Thank you for your time. Bye. So, we can speak with Cabot.
Hello and welcome to the Brotherhood of Steel. May I ask your business here?
Who are you?
I'm Cabot, but you didn't answer me. What can I do for you?
What do you do?
Well, I'm an initiate. Right now, my job is to greet people at the door.
Doesn't sound terribly exciting, but I still want to join the Brotherhood.
That's great. Wait here a second, and let me see what you need to do. Well, I talked to the High Elder, and he said that not just anyone can join. He said you have to complete a quest first.
Did you do a quest before you joined?
Not exactly, but things are a bit different right now.
So what's the quest?
You have to go to the ruins of the Ancient Order that's south of here. You've got to go inside and bring back something that proves that you were there.
Okay.
You'll do it? You will? Great. Just bring it back here. Good luck.
And the other paladin says, I can't believe it. I sent him down there. So we can head off to the remnants of the Ancient Order. And we can head to the Glow. A long journey ahead of us. And after multiple combat encounters, we reach the Glow. We headed a crater And as soon as we enter, we receive large dose of radiation. So, using the radix we got from yeah, what was it? We bought it from the hub. We can get 100% radiation resistance. Can then rearm ourselves. Then we can look at the crater. Surrounding it is the remains of losers and bones of different animals. Looking into the crater, we see a beam and what looks like metal bars tracting with the beam. You can't climb down the pit using just the metal beam. Well, luckily for us, we have rope. Using the rope, we successfully attached the rope to the metal beam. Can rearm ourselves. You can climb down. Entering down, we seem to be in some sort of underground complex. With first room on the west, to our right, I guess, on the way down. We see an empty room with tables, monitors, and computers. Next room is very similar, but this one has some corpses, which appear to have been here for quite some time. But neither of them seem to have anything on them. Moving further down the corridor, we can see that the crater continues down to this floor. Going into the room opposite the crater, see a dead guard, on which has some radaway. You can use it to get rid of the radiation we got before we, I don't know, with respect to this, before we got the radiation resistance, I guess. In the room in the corner, we have two lockers. First one's empty. And in the second one, we have some stim packs. Continuing out. The end of the corridor, we see a elevator. We trigger a trap. We see a door. Probably a good idea to explore the rest of the room before interacting with the elevator. See the remains of a technician, on which there's some radaway and some radix. You also see the remains of man, which has some ammo on him. Then we appear in another corridor, the other side of the crater. In the first room, you see more tables and computers, but computers are broken and the monitors are cracked and destroyed. So continuing up. Next room, there's a very similar scene. In the next room, we have, once again, monitors and such Then at the end of the corridor we have 2 doors. Okay. The one to our east. It's welded too tight for us to open it. So going to the one to the west. Enter the room, we see remains of a corpse encased in odd armor. On it is a yellow passkey and a hollow disc. Seems strange. You think it may be what the Brotherhood sent you to retrieve? Having a look at it. Brotherhood tape. It weighs 1 pound. Can download it to our Pip-Boy. And on it, there's a message. Captain Maxon was right. This place is death. I'm writing this so that we don't make it back. Someone, someday, might find out what happened to us. We made it to West Tech Research Facility after 20 days of hell, but that was the easy part. The radiation levels began to shoot up as soon as we could see the giant crater. We checked our supplies and figured with our armor and our anti-rad supplies, we'd be fine for at least a day of exploring. We felt it was a calculated risk, but the technology we had the potential of recovering was worth it. We climbed down the crater to the first level, and everything seemed to be according to plan. The power was off, so we didn't need to circumvent the security, or so we thought. There wasn't much of value on this level, so we pushed on. The second level was more of the same. When Jensen dropped to the third level, all hell broke loose. The security sensors had been burned out on the first 2 levels, but not on the third. Jensen was cut to ribbons before he knew what had happened. We'd never seen weapons cut through power armor like that. Men started dropping right and left, and the ones who were still alive lost it. I tried to regroup, but only Sato and Camarillo made it back up here. The first level with me. The fact that I can smell Sato's burning flesh where his arm was taken off means that my power armor is no longer airtight. So I'm sucking up a lot more rads than I had planned on. I'm leaking hydraulics at an alarming rate. We need to get far enough away from this place before my armor dies. Camarillo seems fine physically, but he wandered off about an hour ago. But I'm think about Gehenna. That bastard is all the anti-rad. That leaves Sato and myself. We can't make it far enough away from here without the anti-rads. So, I've got to try to find Camarillo before it's too late. Sergeant D. Allen, United States Armed Forces. So, the expedition here didn't survive. In this room, we also have a remains of a dead woman and a dead peasant, both of which have armor, well, weapons on them. And we see a computer. System. Primary power, offline. Secondary power, online. Looking at power management. Power management. Systems management. Primary power. We can try to reinitialize primary power. Primary power management. Error. 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 Primary system initialization failed. Huh. We can, we want to mess with the emergency power. It's online, so we can disable it. And all the lights that were on, turn off. So we can attempt to turn it back on. We can go back to the lift that we saw. Attempting to interact with it. Get a mild shock from the electric field on the door. Take a point of damage. So, we can attempt to use the yellow passkey that we found on the, what was it? Captain D. Allen's corpse. Authorization granted. Now disarm an electric field. Interact with it, we can enter. We have 3 floors. The one we're currently on. 1. Floor 2 and floor 3. Going to floor 2. We enter a room which has computers and remains of a townswoman. And a computer that has very much similar to the previous computer we interacted with. So, continuing up. Again, go for the door. Approaching carefully. We see sentry robots. Being careful of any traps. We can continue forward. We enter a room after that with some lockers and more burnt out computers and monitors. In the first locker we have some explosive rockets. The next we have some frag grenades. And in the third one we have some leather armor. Going out the door we can see a corridor. Halfway down we can see that the crater has continued down this way. And at the end of the corridor, we see a door. Going through the door, we see remains of workers and dead woman and technician on their bodies. On the technician, we have plasma grenade and some flamethrower fuel. Gonna loot the grenade. On the worker, we have a frag grenade. And on the woman, there's some explosives. So before we explore this room opposite, we should head down the corridor to the south room. There's a room with computers, such, very much like first floor, but nothing of note. And to the north, there's dead male guard in here, on which is a red keycard, or passkey, and the remains of a tough radiated rat. It seems not only humans are subject to the radiation here. And in the room opposite, there's more computers, but nothing truly of note. So, returning to the elevator. And we can use the keycard to disarm the electric field, and we can continue to the third floor. Once again, we enter a room which has a computer which controls the power. Going through the door, we can see more sentry robots. Going carefully. We enter another room with computers and such, but nothing truly of note. Going through the door in the room, we see a corridor into the room opposite. We see computers and such with empty shelves. Some very empty metal shelves. Continuing down the corridor, we approach an intersection where we can head north or we can head west. Continuing west, we see a room which is very similar to the first room we entered, with computers and some very empty metal shelves. So heading back to the intersection, we can head north. The room to our east, which seems to have an elevator. And we see a room to our west. Enter the west one first. It's quite a small room with some tables, computers, and 2 doors. Go into the first one, top one first. We enter a room which has a pair of lockers. In the first locker, we have some ammo, some 10mm and some 14mm. And in the other locker, we have 5mm armor piercing, some 223 full metal jacket, some .44 Magnum jacket hollow point, and some small energy cells. Going to the second door, we see 2 more lockers. In the first one, there's some mentats and buffouts. And in the second, we have some stim packs and a first aid kit. With this floor explored, we can... Well, with that explored, we can continue the room to the east, which has computers and such, and a elevator door. Attempted to use the yellow passkey on it. Dogmeat, you're in the way. He does nothing. So we can try to use the red passkey we found on the guard on the floor above us. Using it, authorization granted. Now disarm an electric field. Which means we can enter. This elevator goes to the 3rd, 4th, and 6th floor, but no 5th floor. So we can continue down to 4th floor. Definitely gotten darker. There's no computer in this room to control the power. Continuing through, we see more sentry robots. Going through that room, we see an empty room. Going down, we can enter a series of corridors. Here we see what looks like a other elevator. We attempt to use the red key card on it. Does nothing. So going for the door, you can see 3 lockers. In the first one, we have some rockets. In the second one, we have some pulse grenades and some 5mm armor piercing. And in the last one, we have a Geiger counter, first aid kit, a tool, copy of Dean's electronics, some Radaway, and some Radex. So can read the copy of Dean's electronics, but being mindful of the time. We learn a lot about broken electronics. And have the Radaway on us, just in case. So continue into the main room of the corridor. We can either head east to a room which seems to have a pair of containment or suppression tanks, one of which is broken beyond repair. We have a door to the south, or a corridor. We also have a door to the west, entering which we have a room much like the ones on the floor above us, which is very empty metal shelves, computers and such. Heading south, down the corridor, We have rooms to the side, which has equipment. Both of which are very similar. Making sure our companions don't block the doorway. We can continue down, heading south to a room which is very similar to that one, but this one has a dead guard on it, which has a blue passkey. So, we can head to the door to our north, and we see a door which connects us back to the door that was to the south of that one. And in this, we see a computer. An extremely advanced computer. How may I be of assistance? Who or what are you? I'm a machine intelligence dedicated to research and installation control. I am called Zax. What kind of research? I'm specifically programmed for research into biological studies, including pathology and genetic research. My primary function is an extrapolation of information of complexity levels exceeding human capacity. Who programmed you? And closes. Tell me about this installation. West Tech Research Facility, founded in 2002 as a private contractor for the United States government. The company initially consisted of two divisions, the Advanced Weapons Research and the Biomedical Sciences Division. In 2069, West Tech was the single largest contractor for the United States government, its largest contract being Powered Infantry Armor Model T-51B. In light of significant advances in 2076 by the NBC on the Pan-Immunity Virion project, the United States Defense Department, in fear of international espionage, moved a team on the site to secure and oversee the project, now dubbed the FEV Forced Evolutionary Virus Project. Thanks for the info. I'm delighted to be of assistance. Then interact with it again. We can play a game of chess, or we can ask to grant access to the mainframe. Access denied. Terminating input. So, I guess we won't be getting information from there. And in the side rooms, we have some, I guess, data banks. So, heading south out the door we initially came in, we can head to the door to the east. Has some more suspension tanks, two of which are broken. And head to a door to the southeast, I guess, in which we have 3 lockers. In the first one, we have some rockets. In the second one, we have a crowbar and an assault rifle. And in the third one, we have a big book of science, a leather jacket, a tool, some Dean's electronics. We can take our time, I guess, reading them. And then we can head out. So, we have a red key card, we have a blue key card, and we have a yellow key card. The computer doesn't seem to want to be giving us information. And we have a missing floor from this elevator. But we still have one more floor we can have a look at. So, using the red key card, we can disable the electric field. We can enter and we can head down to the 6th floor. The end of this big room, we have a pair of sentry robots. Seem disabled at the moment. Have a long corridor. Enter the rooms in the east first. We have a vault dweller, which has a stim pack and some energy cells on it. But what's a vault dweller doing down here? In the next room, we have another vault dweller, some right away and a knife, and a townsman who has a plasma pistol on him. But we already have a plasma pistol, so you don't need it. And in the final room, on this side, we see a dead peasant, upon which we have some 5mm jacketed hollow point and .44 magnum jacketed hollow point, but nothing else. Head into the west. First one on the west, I guess, right? If we're heading up. Yeah. We see a set of computers, tables, and what looks like generators. These generators seem to be offline. You wonder if you can start them back up. Using repair skill. And can attempt to, making sure our companions aren't in the way, we can attempt to repair it. We failed to start up the generator. You started the generator and all systems seems to be coming back online. You gain 1,000 experience points. So, interacting with the computer. Primary power offline. Go into power management. Primary power. Reinitialize primary power. And the lights turn on. Head in to the final room. Opening the door. Ian, why did you close the door? We see the remains of a person in power armor. Nothing on them. And a dead guard, which has a 10mm pistol on it. Perhaps this was Jensen, who dealt with the what was it? Security systems on level 3. Heading up, the sentry bots we saw becomes active, and we're forced to fight. And that is the sentry bots dealt with. On the one which seems to have a sort of dome on top, we see a sniper rifle, which is very similar in damage to our was it .223 weapon, with the same ammunition if I recall correctly, but I have a feeling it's slightly better at long range. And on the other sentry bot, there's nothing. So we've reached the bottom floor. We see an elevator at the end of the room. Presumably it connects to the one on the 4th floor, was it? Yeah. And the red key card didn't work, so we can attempt to use the blue we can attempt to use the blue key card that we found on the 4th floor. Making sure our companions aren't in the way. And use it, and authorization granted. Now disarm an electric field. We can head up to the 4th floor, the 5th floor, or we can stay on the 6th floor. Heading up to the 5th floor. You gained 1,000 experience points. You've gone up a level. Heading across, we see a room very similar to we sort of see a room very similar to ones we've seen before. So making sure that we heal first. And so we can let Tycho open the door and get forced into combat. And we're victorious in combat. Yay! On one of them we have sniper rifle. None of the flying sentry bots have anything on them. We have another one with a sniper rifle on it. And we have one with shotgun and shotgun shells. Took a heavy beating during that. And that weapon wasn't as good as I thought it might be. So we can re-equip the nice one we have. And we can heal back up as well. Just in case. So, continuing along. We enter a corridor, which has a couple of rooms. Enter from east to west. Entering the first room, we see a sort of observation room, which has a pair of lockers. In the first locker, we have a holodisk. Have a look at it on a Pip-Boy. It contains Alpha Experiment Tape. Prototype Pan Immunity Virion Project. In the hopes of countering the current bacteriological and viral agents employed by the Chinese government, we have manufactured a virus fragment consisting of ribonucleic acid, RNA, encased in a protein lipid sheath. This virion contains a specially arranged sequence of radiated amino acids, RAA, that are capable of attaching to non-specific binding sites on deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, and force non-replicating mitosis to occur. The resultant host cell is left with a quadruple helix DNA structure. Early tests are promising. The virion easily penetrates the cell membrane and attaches directly to the host DNA in the nucleus. Mitosis of the structure begins almost immediately. Cytokinesis is prevented by controlling disposition of the kinetochore fibers during anaphase. The entire mitotic cycle lasts approximately 2 hours, although phenotypical expressions of the new structure may take days or weeks to become apparent. In addition to an effective immunity to bacterial and viral agents, the quad helix structure is almost entirely immune to errors introduced in base pairing during replication due to multiplicity of the base sequence. Radiation-exposed tissue shows no mutation in the base sequence, and protein synthesis mechanisms in the ribosomes were unimpaired. Over 80% of the sample tissue contained quad helix DNA. Most affected was muscle and bone tissue, as well as secretory cells, such as those cells seemed most receptive to virion. Sensory cells the least affected. Surprisingly, even normal non-replicating nerve cells and non-somatic cells were induced to begin mitosis. Further experiments will be necessary to determine the results of these cells. So they were doing research here on viruses. And in the next locker, we have some Radaway, some stim packs, and a first aid kit. And continuing along, in the next room, we see a medical table, which is very rusty, and a locker, in which we have some combat armor, and guns and bullets. Another book. Exploring the rest of the room, we see a ton of lockers and another said medical table with a other locker which contains a plasma rifle and some microfusion cells. And of course, I can't. I am a very weak character. I don't need the sniper rifle. Having a look at the plasma rifle. A Winchester model P94 plasma rifle. An industry-grade weapon firing superheated bolts of plasma down a superconducting barrel. Plasma microfusion cells. Minimum strength of 6. Minimum strength requirement of 6. Has 10 out of 10 shots of microfusion cells. It weighs 17 pounds. It does 30 to 65 damage, range 25. It may be useful. But we skipped past a ton of lockers. 6 of them, no, 7 of them. The first one, we see a holodesk, upon which we have the Delta experiment tape. The military has deemed it necessary for us to research further in depth the effects of wave technology upon living organisms. We have taken light and sound as the basis of our studies. Manipulating the amplitude of the light waves and magnifying the frequency, we have been able to get lasers which will cut through a few feet of steel. Unfortunately, the power to do such a task has not been fully developed. We have other scientists looking into this. So it wasn't just this virus they were looking into. In the next one, we have a ton of ammo. Some grenades. In the one after that, we have a minigun, which Requires a minimum strength of 7. Yeah, we aren't built for that. Next one, we see a radio and some assault rifles. I don't remember who has the radio that we picked up. In the next locker, we have some small energy cells and some microfusion cells. Pick up those microfusion cells. No, drop off the other energy cells we had. In the next locker, there's a Geiger counter, motion sensor, and a stealth boy. And in the final one, there's 10mm pistol, a laser pistol, and a 14mm pistol. Oof. So, continuing along the corridor, and enter the next room, in which we have a series of suspension tanks. The broken one, another broken one, and 2 more broken ones. Continuing along. Can enter the final room, in which we have some computer banks and a locker. In the locker, we have a other hollow disk, upon which we have the FEV experiment tape. Log date March 21st, 2075. Major Barnett has ordered experiments with batch 10-011 of Pan-Immunity Virion, which has been renamed FEV, the Forced Evolutionary Virus. Its main concern is with the side effects of the quad helix structure rather than its main effects of replicative stability. He believes the new structure is the next logical step for mammalian nuclei. Experiments with single-celled organisms is a great success. While their basal metabolism appears unchanged, their immunity to infection and radiation is exceeding all earlier expectations. Addendum. Chloroplasts seem unaffected by the virion. Further experiments on plant cells have been cancelled by order of Major Barnett. Log date May 9th, 2075. We infected several species of flatworm with FEV. Within hours, the worms have increased in size by 28%, and 39 separate viral contagions were resisted by the population. Each sample was allowed to continue for several generations, and the new DNA structure was successfully passed onto the worm's progeny. Although only asexual reproduction was noticed in the samples. Experiments with insects have had less success. Major Barnett has postponed these experiments until further notice. Log date, June 30th, 2075. Several lab strains of white mice have been infected successfully with FEV. Again, an increase in size was noted within hours, and after 9 days, all mice had stabilized at 31% larger than the control group. Dissection revealed the most increase in size in striated muscle tissue and certain internal organs, such as the liver, heart, and kidneys. In a surprising finding, the infected mice were found to run mazes in less than half the time of the control group. More testing will be needed to confirm this finding is significant. Log date, November 9th, 2075. We've infected 218 rabbits with FEV. Half of the subjects were implanted with electrodes to monitor EEG activity before and after the infection. Increased electrical activity in the brain was noted in 3.2 seconds, on average, after injection. Again, the typical size increase was noted. However, increased aggression and posturing, especially among males, was noted as well. A sacrifice and perfusion yielded brain tissue that showed increased dendritic connection, and especially in the limbic system and frontal cortex. Log date January 12th, 2076. With batch 11011, we have improved the mitotic. With batch 11-011, we have improved mitotic cycle efficiency by 43%. We have infected 53 raccoons with a new strain. In addition to the now expected size increase, behavioral tests confirmed increase in intelligence and manual dexterity by 19 points on the Sculptor Capt Index. Unfortunately, several subjects escaped confinement and had to be hunted down and dispatched. Major Barnett ordered the remaining subjects terminated. 2 pairs were unaccounted for. Log date May 13th, 2076. We have spliced several new gene sequences supplied by Major Barnett's advisory team into FEV. With batch 11-101A, we've infected 23 dogs of both pure and mixed breed, and all experienced nearly immediate growth. The larger size was accompanied with increased aggressiveness, while no significant intelligence increase was noted. We plan to attempt crossover of 92 alley pairs with batch 11-011. All subjects were terminated after 14 weeks of study. Log date October 4th, 2076. The crossover has been completed and 15 chimpanzees were infected with batch 11-111. Growth and immunity levels were unprecedented. Attempts to induce cancer in the subjects through radiological and chemical agents were not successful. Increased aggressiveness had led to isolating the subjects. 2 subjects suffered from violent epileptic seizures and died. All remaining subjects terminated. Log date January 7th, 2077. Major Barnett has ordered transfer of all FEV research to the Mariposa military base. He plans to continue the project experiments on volunteer subjects. I am against this, and would like it noted here that my research on human subject is not recommended by myself or my staff. So this virus, which increases aggressiveness and size and muscle, is being tested on humans at this Mariposa military base. So we can head up to now that we've sorted out the power, maybe we can speak to this the super advanced computer. Maybe it will give us a bit more information. How may I be of assistance? Grant me access to the mainframe. Access granted. The main menu. Base information. And we get the basic information that was given when we asked for it. Security information. Security robots active. We can deactivate the security robots. Access denied. On the research information. Research records most current at West Tech Research Facility. Research Division employees records. Research personnel records. Robert Anderson, research assistant, security clearance blue, stationed Mariposa military base. Nick Davis, director of NBC Division of West Tech Research, security clearance blue, stationed West Tech Research Facility. John Isaac, research assistant, security clearance red, stationed West Tech Research Facility. Steve Bremco, Research Assistant, Security Clearance Blue, stationed Mariposa Military Base. Charles Reinhold, Research Head of Laser Development, Security Clearance Blue, stationed West Tech Research Facility. Michelle Santos, Lab Technician, Security Clearance Red, stationed West Tech Research Facility. Aaron Shellman, Lab Technician, Security Clearance Blue, stationed Mariposa Military Base. Leon Van Valden, Research Head of FEV, Security Clearance Blue, stationed Mariposa Military Base. You can download the records to the BitBoy. Power Armor, status complete. Power Armor specs. The T-51B powered infantry armor is designed with the latest passive defense features for both civilian and military disturbances. The back-mounted TX-28 microfusion pack generates 60,000 watts to power, and the high-flow hydraulic systems built into the frame of the suit. Made of the latest polylaminate composite, the T-51B shell is lightweight and capable of absorbing over 2,500 joules of kinetic impact. The 10-micron silver arbolite coating can reflect laser and radiation emissions without damage to the composite surface. Okay. Download those records to the BitBoy. FEV, status pending. FEV summary, digest 2073. As China became increasingly aggressive with their use of biological weapons, the United States government felt that a countermeasure was needed. The Pan Immunity Project, PvP, was officially formed September 15, 2073. 2075 became clear that the best way to combat the newly created biological weapons was to alter uninfected DNA so that it was no longer susceptible to standard viral infection. 2076. Unforeseen side effects began surfacing in early 2076 with the PvP. Animal test subjects began showing an abnormal growth rate, accompanied by increased brain activity. The US government took notice of these discoveries, and in the interest of national security, moved a team on site to secure and oversee the project, which is now dubbed the FEV, Forced Evolutionary Virus Project. 2077. FEV nears completion. Tests on lab animals were at near 100% success rate. Size and muscle density increased approximately 60%, and the potential increase by 200%. Effects on human subjects remain unknown, although they are theoretically promising. The military, wishing to continue further testing, builds a large facility at the Mariposa Military Installation in Central California. At this new facility, testing the FEV continues on volunteer subjects from the military. Download those records. And Power Terminus. You can disable primary power if you wish, but probably best not to. And that is the glow. During that chat, we lost the effects of one of our Radax. Probably all that reading of books. So we've completed the mission, but we still have the security system to deal with. And that is those dealt with. We can continue upwards. With security. Head up to the third floor. Heading down. So, heading towards the left, making sure we're prepared for combat, considering we know that there are sentry bots in here. Can tread carefully. Haven't dealt with the security on this floor. Can loot the bodies of shotgun and some shotgun shells. And an assault hunting rifle and no ammo. So we can head up to the first floor. And we can head back to the surface. And then we can return to the Brotherhood. Feel very nauseous. What's our radiation level at the moment? We're radiated at the moment. So we can continue to the Brotherhood. And we arrive back at the entrance to the Brotherhood of Steel. And we can speak. Cabot.
Hey, you're back. Did you get something?
Yep, sure did.
Great. But the High Elder said you have to give it to me before I can let you in. Sorry.
Okay.
This is great. Hang on while I open the door.
Okay. We get 2,000 experience, becoming an initiate. And we gain access to the Brotherhood of Steel bunker. But that is about all I have time for today. So, if you like this video, like, subscribe, comment. If you didn't like this video, comment saying why you didn't like this video. Next time, we shall be exploring this Brotherhood of Steel bunker and hopefully finding out more information about this super mutant menace. Possibly. So yes, I guess I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.